Hello and welcome to my video on resilience. Hope you're okay today and enjoying your day so far. Okay, so resilience. The reason I'm going to talk about resilience is because I recognise that 3 years ago I made a video on resilience and it keeps popping up into my mind. And also there's a big link, a huge link between anxiety and developing resilience and living a life of your dreams, living a good life, being happy, being content. So let me tell you a little bit about that. But first of all, I'm going to go through the basics of what I put on my video 3 years ago. Now, this was on the back of an incident where somebody had driven into my car. My car had been parked really nicely in a car park, in a good parking spot, and a man in a van had come along to do a delivery and he'd left his handbrake off. Now, my car happened to be at the bottom of the hill where the van was, where the handbrake had been left off. So you can imagine what happened. The van came pelting down the hill straight into my car and caused loads of damage. Now, I almost came immediately in after sorting everything out and doing everything that I could and made a video because it really brought up for me how important resilience is to life's circumstances and life's difficulties, those things that happen that we don't have control over. So I had a little look up of what resilience actually meant in the dictionary. And resilience is actually the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. So that's worth thinking about, isn't it? It's not about actually, dealing with them in the moment, almost kind of overriding difficulties or forgetting that they happen. It's about recovering from them quickly, getting back on track. Now, when I made this video in 2017, there were 3 key factors that I identified which were important for resilience. And these three key factors were self-acceptance. So acknowledging that actually, we are fallible human beings, that we make mistakes, we're not always perfect, and sometimes things don't go the way that we want them to, which is obvious anyway. I'll say a little bit more about that later. But having that self-acceptance, that acknowledgement that everything that we do, we can't change, but also that we don't have to be perfect, because we spend so much time beating ourselves up because we don't get things right, or the should-ofs, I should have done this, should have done that. So just having pure self-acceptance. The second key to building resilience is managing your anger. Now, we can quickly get into rage, we can quickly get out of control, and actually it doesn't do us any favours. We can't think straight, the amygdala is triggered, which is the tiny part of the brain, which is the emotional brain, related to our brains prehistorically, and it's there to protect us, but it can produce rage. Now, the best way to deal with that is to just breathe. You're not going to not feel angry, because obviously in situations that happen that you're not happy about, that aren't as you want them to be, that natural response will be there. But just breathe through it. Don't act on anger, just breathe through it to start off with, and allow your thinking brain to kick in so that you can deal with the situation rationally. Okay, so the third one is changing your negative thoughts. Quite often we'll catastrophize, we'll see things as the worst thing in the world, we'll have black and white thinking, why is my life always like this? We'll make things just over the top. So it's really important to actually change our negative thinking. Hi Sarah, good to see you here. I know a few of you have been here for a little while. I hope you've caught all of the early part of the video, but I'm just going to go over the 3 points that help you with resilience. So resilience includes self-acceptance, managing your anger, and also dealing with your negative thoughts. Now, those were my 3 resilience points in 2017 when I did a video. Now I've got quite a bit to add to this today. So listen in, And I hope some of this might resonate with you, because this is all really interesting and really helpful, and perhaps quite motivational as well. Now, there was a Greek philosopher called Seneca. He was born in Spain and educated in Rome. And one of the things that he said was to bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. So by being calm, it robs misfortune of the strength and the burden that it can put on us. So I just really want to emphasize that aspect of just being calm, just breathing through difficult situations to start off with. And he also had lots to say about how to deal with grief, which some of you may identify with, but also with anger. Life is full of punches and kicks. It is. It just is the way it is. I don't know anyone that I've spoken to that hasn't had some difficult or adverse situation happen to them. And isn't it interesting that some people deal with these in one way and quite calmly and manage it, and other people find it very difficult? So let's have a little look at why. So a lot of it's based in resistance. So when we suffer, often it's because there's a pain going on in our lives and we're resistant to it. So we're fighting it. We're saying, no, this mustn't happen. I really don't want this to happen. I want my life to be happy and calm like it was yesterday. Hey, life happens. Things happen. Things get difficult. Absolutely, things that we just didn't expect come out of the sidelines and knock us sideways. And anything that we resist, if we resist that whole principle that life happens and life can be difficult at times, then we are setting ourselves up for suffering. So I'm not saying that you're going to walk around all the time saying, oh, what's going to happen around the next corner, or what's going to happen next, and what bad thing's going to happen to me next, because that's the other extreme. But it's just having a mindful awareness and acceptance that sometimes things do happen. So this was where the serenity prayer, and I know, so some people, they don't like the word prayer, but I absolutely love this phrase, okay? So it's grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So being able to accept the things that we can't change. So those external things, other people's behaviour, how circumstances that happen, the past, all of those things, it's accepting those, because if we resist those, we fight those, we're immediately in suffering. And then acknowledge the things that we can change. So change the things that we can. And what we can change is our reaction, how we behave, what we do. And know the difference between those two. Now that can be quite tricky, takes some understanding and some learning. But this is where the mindfulness comes in, and just recognizing what's going on with yourself. How about this one? If the train is late, it's okay because someone else is driving it. We have no power. I mean, the amount of times I used to get so frustrated about being late, but often it wasn't my fault. Something had happened, there'd been circumstances, there'd been a roadblock. I was only driving down the road the other day and I was very late anyway, which was my fault. I could have done better on that. But then I hit a herd of cows across the road, and they were there for ages, and people were out their cars. We were trying to sort it all out. However, it did make me even more late, but I was completely out of the control of that circumstances. So at that point I had to just let it go. So let me know if any of this is resonating with you, any of this frustration that sometimes we have over circumstances we can't control, whether it's easy for you to let go or whether you find that difficult, whether there's particular things that you find bring you pain and suffering, or things that happen that are negative that you particularly fight. Have a little think about that and let me know. Okay. So one of the things we can do at the end of our day is review our day. I often talk about starting with a routine at the beginning of the day, which is great. It's always good to do that. That can calm the mind and get settled and ready for the day. But also it's important to review your day at the end of the day. So what was good? How did I do well? What could I do better? So how could I improve how I react to things? And what do I need to do to be the best version of myself? And it might be just one little step towards being the best version of yourself, because we all know who we really want to be. We just get sidetracked. And I'm not saying that that's easy to get back on track, but if you can do one little thing each day working towards the best version of yourself, that will really help to reduce anxiety and help you to build the dream life, a life that you really want, that dream beyond your wildest dreams, maybe that life that you didn't even think that you could have because of all these difficulties. But actually, you can build resilience to difficulties in life. They're not going to go away, but you can build resilience. So we have expectations of life. We expect life to go a certain way. Big mistake. Because actually life happens around us. Things happen. And if we have expectations, we can breed resentments from those expectations. So say, for instance, that we expect everything to happen a certain way. When we arrive somewhere, we're going to be greeted, we're going to be shown to our room, and then there's nobody there to help us. We can have some real disappointment. In that moment, of course, it's okay to feel disappointed, but then it's like changing your thinking. It's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe somebody else is busy doing what they're needing to do. Just changing your thinking. And also we can forget gratitude, and gratitude is so important. I put my hand here as I say gratitude, because gratitude helps me at the end of the day to just think of what I'm grateful for. However bad that day has been, we can turn that negative thinking into positive thinking. Okay, so I'm just going to go over those few points again. So remember that suffering is pain times resistance. So every time we resist pain in our lives, we suffer. Remember the serenity prayer or the serenity statement. Accept what you can, accept what is, change what you can, which is yourself, and find out the difference between what you can't change and what you can change. Remember, if the train is late, it's okay because somebody else is driving it. And review your day. Bring in your gratitude list, and also look at your own behaviour. Look at how you've dealt with situations and think about what you could do better. Also think about what you would like for your dream life. What your life would, you've only got one, after all. We have this one life. Dependent on what you believe, but I do believe that we, in living this life the best way that we can really fulfill our experience. So just do that one thing that you can. That's my cat, if you hear her. She loves coming in on the lives. She's always here to say hello. Probably because I'm talking and she's thinking I'm talking to her. I don't know. And then the gratitude and expectations. So if we have too many expectations on how things should go, quite often we can end up with resentments, feeling frustrated, feeling angry. So it's not about not hoping for things, but it's not putting too much weight on our expectations. So if things don't go the way that we plan, remembering that actually things always quite often don't go the way that we've planned, and that's okay. So life is a training ground, scratches and all, and we can always learn from every experience. Things go wrong, and we can learn and we can move on. Change is a universal rule of nature. It's always happening, and we have been through so much change recently, and I know that's been really difficult, and I also believe that it's been a really, really difficult time. However, some people have dealt with it and have suffered because they've resisted and resisted and resisted. And I place no judgment on those people or on yourself if you have felt that way. However, there is another way. And it's accepting what is, accepting all that stuff that you're powerless over, all that stuff that's happening around you. This is where we are. This is where we are in our lives. It's not great, but there's no guarantees that life is always going to be the same. That is one constant. Life will change. So appreciate what you have now. Be in the now. Enjoy the now. Appreciate what you do have in the circumstances, maybe where there's been loss and grief and things going not the way that you want them to. Appreciate the good things. So life is like a flowing river. It moves along and it changes everything around it as it goes. And we almost have to ride that wave. We're on a little boat, we're on that river. We can be going downhill very, very fast at times, getting hit by rocks. At other times, we're on the really calm part where everything feels really nice, and we can get stuck on those parts because we all want it to be nice all the time, nice and calm. But the other side of it is we don't learn if it's like that all the time. So by using the river metaphor, you attach less to what you love. I mean, on that note, you know, everybody is impermanent. We are all impermanent, and this is getting a little bit deep. However, you know, things can change. So love the people around you, because anything can change any moment. And, you know, just getting in touch with that and recognizing that, actually just appreciating every moment that you have with every person, because, yeah, things can change very, very quickly. Okay, so any questions, anything that you want to ask, any reflections, any thoughts on what I've said? I'm not too sure if I've got any more comments available to me. I've just seen Sarah saying morning. I don't know if anybody else is here or has some comments or questions. I can see there's a few people watching. And if you're watching this on replay, please just put some comments underneath the video, what your thoughts are on this. There'll be other things coming from this video throughout the week. If you have any thoughts on this, please do just let me know. My email is vanessa@crystalclearcoaching.org. So a couple of times throughout this video, I mentioned the link between anxiety and the cat's come in. She's here behind me. She's actually here behind me. She just plays around with the cat flap when I'm on videos. I don't know why she does that. But anyway, powerless. So yeah, if you're interested in what I've been saying, and you maybe you've been feeling a bit anxious recently, anxiety is something that I'm doing some work on at the moment, and I want to support people to come out of anxiety. And you may find that over the recent period that anxieties have been a bit higher. Now, this resilience is the bridge between anxiety and getting a better life, feeling better within life, living the life beyond your wildest dreams, living that good life, accepting what is, being what is, actually having that flow along the river. So going with the flow, whether the boat's going fast or whether it's going slow, you're able to take those knocks. You know, like me having my car smashed into in 2017. That was a knock that I had to take. I was angry, I was frustrated. However, I managed to deal with it quite quickly. There was no point in getting angry about it. I had to try and find some positives and work through it. So you can do the same. And I would love to be able to support you. So if you would like to join me at the end of August, I am running a 3-day retreat called Build Your Dream Life Retreat. And we're going to be talking about resilience as one of the key themes. We're also going to be putting together our visions for our lives and exploring lots of techniques as to how to bring all that together, how to manage anxiety, how to manage your emotions, your thoughts, so that you can actually live the life that you want to live, your best possible life for yourself, emotionally. But also, when we manage our emotions, when we're in tune with our dreams, and we can take the knocks of life, we can get there. We can get there. Believe me, because I've done it. I had a life of my dreams, and I know it sounds like a bit of cliche, but I actually have that now. And boy, have I had some knocks along the way. Some real sidelines which have been, oh, I can't do this anymore. But you know what? I've pushed on through, and I want to tell you how to do that, show you how I've done it, and also support you to do the same. Okay, so have a wonderful day or evening if you're watching this later on replay. If you've got any points, as I say, please put them into the comments or email me, vanessa@crystalclearcoaching.org. I will put the link underneath here for our retreat at the end of August. It's online, it's on Zoom. We're not quite ready to go back to physical retreats just yet. That is coming up later on in November. But at the moment we're online, so it's nice, it's good value, it's nice and cheap, and it's also very accessible because you can do it from your own home. Okay, take care. Lots of love. See you again soon. Bye.